Hi, George Rogers here. In this next set of videos, I want to share with you some insights that I've gained over the past 25 years of developing educational resources for use in public, private, and homeschool settings. I believe some of these ideas will represent things that you've not thought of in this way before. And I also believe that many of them can help add enjoyment to your role as a teacher and to your child's experiences as a learner. But most importantly, I believe that they can help your child learn some things that perhaps he or she might not have ever learned any other way. So in the words of Dumbledore, tuck in and enjoy. We are now on video number 19 in our series on homeschool curriculum. And in this video we're going to examine what kind of thinking skills children need and why. In video 18 on faulty thinking, we referred to this quote from Charles Darwin, in which he wrote, "The highest possible stage in moral culture is when we recognize that we ought to control our thoughts. Whatever makes any bad action familiar to the mind renders its performance so much the easier." What I wish to point out here is that the same is true of good thoughts and good actions. Whatever makes any good action familiar to the mind renders its performance so much the easier. Unfortunately, thoughts that uplift, inspire, motivate, and encourage us to be better human beings seem to require greater effort than do contrary thoughts. To acquire this kind of mental and emotional strength requires a sustained and disciplined effort. It is not an accident of birth. Conscious choices must be made. One of these choices is the choice to develop 7 specific thinking skills: criticism, creativity, curiosity, communication, concentration, control, and correction. I dare say that few of us have consciously made that choice, and I suspect that most of us are deficient in one or more of these thinking skills. But that doesn't mean that we can't make that choice, and it doesn't mean that we shouldn't teach our children to make that choice. Let's take a look at them one at a time. Criticism is the ability to analyze, consider, study, question, compare, and form accurate judgments of value and worth. This skill enables us to consider what makes most sense and determine what best. It helps us to form good judgment in estimating the values of things. Creativity is the ability to imagine, originate, invent, and create new things. When a person needs a new tool or machine, it's up to creativity to invent it. When there's a problem to solve, it's up to creativity to figure out how. Creativity also helps people write beautiful music, great literature, paint pictures, and design buildings. There's very little around us that did not require creativity to bring it into existence. Curiosity is not only the ability, but the desire to wonder, inquire, explore, and seek out new information. Curiosity's job is to find out how things work and why things are the way they are. Curiosity operates by asking lots of questions. Curiosity wants to know who did what and why, how they did it, and where and when. Curiosity, along with the skills of criticism and creativity, are dependent on the skill or ability to share ideas. We call this communication. And knowledge through communication is acquired through the processes of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing are essential tools of communication. The better people are in using these tools, the better they are able to obtain and share information important to their opportunities in life. Of the 4, I personally believe listening is the most important, but all are valuable for making good choices. But there are other ways to learn. Helen Keller was deaf and blind and learned through touch, the invaluable lesson that words have meaning. Many who are neither deaf nor blind have yet to really grasp the importance of this idea. Concentration is the ability to pay close attention and stay on task. Anytime someone wants to learn or do something that requires skill or effort, requires concentration. Almost nothing of any real importance is ever done without concentration. Unfortunately, the ability to concentrate is becoming a lost skill among many youth. It is critical that somehow we help them develop this skill. Control is the ability to govern one's thoughts and feelings. The thinking skill of control has two jobs. First, it helps us to keep our emotions in check. Without mental self-control, the stinking thinking gang can take control not only of our thoughts, but also of our feelings. When this happens, people say and do things hurtful to themselves and to others. Secondly, control helps us to focus our thoughts so that we can concentrate and accomplish things of importance and not just mentally wander around aimlessly. Finally, we come to the skill of correction, the ability to make necessary changes in one's beliefs and choices and actions in order to improve results. Whenever the stinking thinking gang throws us off course, it's correction's job to help us get back on track. One of the hardest things for many people to say is, "I was wrong," or "I'm sorry." Since everyone makes mistakes, there is no one I'm aware of who does not have a need for this ability. The 7 C skills are largely available to anyone who wishes to acquire them. Desire and effort are far more important than intellectual capacity. Therefore, it's necessary to help young people understand the importance of acquiring these 7 skills and know how to develop them, and commit to a lifelong process of skill development that will greatly challenge them, but will also take them to otherwise unachievable heights of accomplishment and personal satisfaction. We now come to number 20 in our video series. In it, I will give you my answer to what essential virtues do children need to develop and why. Now, if you found this video helpful and would like to receive other videos in the series on how to select homeschool curriculum that's right for you and your child, go to www.hommeschoolcurriculumfaq.com. Again, that's hommeschoolcurriculumfaq.com. Thanks for joining in. Be sure to tell your friends about us, and I look forward to seeing you now on video 20.